You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
We're trotting out and peddling the most racist, sexist, bigoted stereotypes.
And their colleagues have distorted the facts.
Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say and put them on display.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Hunter Biden is not above the law. We want to send him to the DOJ, and we want to trust the DOJ to do their job.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did.
The bill, as I said, codifies one definition of anti-Semitism. A definition that the author says shouldn't be codified.
RICO is not a crime. They want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Leadership of the plans to get them back into chambers. That would have been call number 3 with Speaker Pelosi.
So you didn't have one call, you didn't have 2 calls, you had 3 calls. So Speaker Pelosi's comments that she didn't speak to were inaccurate.
That is correct, sir.
Welcome to the Off-Label Podcast, your daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a good little bit tonight to talk about. Looks like the Supreme Court made a ruling here that's about to change everything and maybe redefine birthright citizenship as it stands right now and the arguments that have been presented. But it also stops injunctions all over the place for deportations and shit. Until all of this is sorted out, this is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. What was the other one here? Oh, we got chaos breaking out in Miami-Dade in their. I think this is their house. A woman was drug out, forcefully drug out of their hearing. Or supposedly simply asking a question. And of course, we definitely do have to talk about this mom, Donnie. That's coming first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get going.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
This election is a choice between a candidate with a blue collar and one with a silver spoon. A choice between dirty fingernails and manicured nails.
When Mayor Adams, you just heard him come out and he said soup, silver spoon. He talked about manicured nails to refer to you, right? You were. I was looking at him. You can show him to everybody. Right. What do you say to him?
You know, I understand what he's doing. He's trying to distract from his own record. His is a record where he raised rents on more than 2 million New Yorkers by 9%, and he's considering another 8% increase. His is a record of raising the water bill to the highest it's been in 13 years, supporting Con Edison when they wanted to increase New Yorkers' gas and electric bills by $65 a month. I would much rather talk about me than I would about his record if I was him. And so that's what he's going to be doing over the next few months. And we will continue to remind New Yorkers what's on the ballot. It's affordability.
Affordability's on the ballot. Are you sure about that?
Communism and destruction.
What up, everybody? How you doing tonight?
Hi, guys.
Let's see. We got Louie in the house. We got Rhoda, Carolyn Hall, Rick Donner, and Kraz. The Trump train's there. Jennifer, Jeno, Wes, and Wild Bill. What's up going on? What's up going on? What's up? What's going on with y'all? All right, we got Jennifer over there on Rumble side with Glenn over here. Jonah Finn's over here. We were pre-gaming, just kind of messing around. Kind of showed off a little bit of something about the eating the cats and dogs things on the pre-game show. Maybe turned himself in. Yeah, I actually.
One river.
Dude, Jennifer was talking about the, those 11 inmates.
Yeah.
The last of them were arrested, so they got all 11.
Which one? The ones that escaped from the prison?
Yeah, they got them all now.
Oh, good.
So yeah, what up, Renegade? Mom's Mystery Mayhem. We got Deluxe Night in the house, just out here as usual, bouncing around in a tractor cab, officially on my last 45 acres of gluten-free buckwheat planting. How the fuck do you got?
Huh?
Gluten-free buckwheat planting.
That's like a white Eddie Murphy. What?
It's called the credit card a catfish. Is the credit card a catfish? Yeah. Yes, honey, they lied about the credit limit alone. It has $20 limit. This shit was great. But yeah, we got Sober in here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, look, let's just go ahead and talk about this real quick. I'm going to put it this way. Never knew anything about this motherfucker, but people started lighting the fuck up and about him and just finding a lot of weird shit. And I'm going to tell you this right here. Actual Justice Warrior did the best sum up. Y'all got to check this out. I have to give a shout out to this guy. Hold on, let me bring this up right here, because this motherfucker, he went deep into it.
Oftentimes we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
So that was the current Democratic nominee for mayor, Zohran Mamdani, talking about how New York State notoriously too soft on the criminals. New York
Deluxe Night with the dono. Buckwheat is a gluten-free alternative to normal wheat flour.
Okay. So when you call somebody buckwheat, they're just a gluten-free alternative. But no, I will say this. Like, that shit is fucking scary that dude is actually knowing what he means. And Sean's going to sum it up for you real fucking nicely. Now actually knowing what he means, that is disgusting. Check this out.
State absolutely crazy in that they classify crimes that are not violent crimes as violent crimes, and of course he was doing this in defense of New York State bail reform law, the original version of it, because he's actively throughout his state assembly career worked against amendments in order to fix the obvious problems with bail reform. But even the examples that he gave right there that are meant to sound reasonable are anything but. He mentioned burglary. When somebody breaks into your home or your dwelling, he does not consider that a violent crime. And I will remind you that in the United States of America, we have something called the Castle Doctrine. And the reason we have the Castle Doctrine is because it is the belief in the overwhelming majority of the states in the Union that when somebody breaks into your home, it should not be on you, the victim of that break-in, to witness them going to try to kill you or seriously injure you before you can defend your castle, your property. But
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, in my area, you have a no trespassing sign up and you've had constant problems with a person, if they step on your property, it's game on. After a few feet onto the property line, it's game on.
Mamdani is absolutely against that. He thinks if somebody breaks in the middle of the night and they discover you and they may or may not attack you with physical violence or murder you to take what you have, then guess what? That's not a violent crime until the knife is actually in your heart. That's not a violent crime until you're beaten bloody. That's not a violent crime until later on. And by the way, I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit because even those violent actions that are clearly and obviously violent, Mamdani would also argue are just a social construct and no big deal due to his support for the original New York State bail reform law. Again, I will read you the list of the crimes that are totally exempt from bail under the original law, which means
You guys have to listen to this shit, because this is what the motherfucker's saying. He wants to decriminalize because they're not violent.
means you're guaranteed a same-day automatic release that not only did Mamdani support, but he fought back tooth and nail in order to prevent any reforms against this law from coming to fruition. And this is because he's a defund/abolish the police, defund.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
He has stated it multiple times.
/abolish prisons kind of guy. Again, from the top of the list. Manslaughter in the second degree. Do I even need to go on? Do I even need to read the rest of this list? Mamdani supported a law that said that you get a same-day automatic release no matter what. A judge can never remand you to custody or charge you $1 bail because you committed aggravated manslaughter, and we consider that to be a serious crime, and we're worried you're going to do that again. He thinks this is in the category of a social construct of possibly violent, and again, that's just one crime right at the top of the list.
Aggravated manslaughter. Now, manslaughter is, I didn't mean to kill you.
It was accidental.
Right.
But you died.
Accidental, or, what is it? Yeah, attempted manslaughter is I didn't mean to kill you, but you almost died.
Yeah.
And they want to decriminalize that. Like, you get arrested, well, not decriminalized, but you get arrested for that shit, sent to jail, and then let out immediately with no bail. This is what they're talking about.
So if you get into a fight and you knock somebody down and they smash their head on the ground and they died, yeah, you're not going to jail.
Well, you go to jail. You just get out the same day, no bond.
Yeah.
List of the original bail reform. It gets significantly worse. So we have aggravated vehicular homicide, a social.
Hold on.
I tried to hit you with a vehicle purposely to kill you. Is not a violent crime.
Constructed violent crime, if I ever did hear one. Criminally negligent homicide, assault.
Criminally negligent homicide. Assault in the third degree. Aggravated vehicular assault. Well, just finish it off for us. Here, hold up. Listen.
This next one is just too close to his heart.
Hold up. Yeah. He did have his car stolen. But check this shit out. Just finish it off for us, Sean.
Assault in the third degree, aggravated vehicular assault, making a terrorist threat, criminal possession of a gun on school grounds / possession of a firearm.
Criminal possession of a gun on the school grounds. He wants to say, hey, yeah, get arrested, but you're back out on the street.
Or If you have a firearm. So if you have one on school grounds, if you have one, period. I don't disagree with that one. I'm not going to lie. Everybody should be able to own a firearm. Don't care.
Well, dude, with some of the strictest gun laws in the fucking area, I mean, why would that be a thing? Why would you try to decriminalize that other than the fact that maybe you are a 2A advocate?
I mean, he watches his cousin shoot him off in the air at a wedding, so maybe, he's like, hey, maybe we could do that here in New York.
He also watches his cousins fuck goats in the desert.
Well, family traditions.
Right.
Arm, criminal sale of a firearm to a minor, arson in the 3rd and 4th degree, money laundering in support of terrorism in the 3rd and 4th degree, promoting or possessing obscene sexual performance by a child, aggravated cruelty to animals, overdriving, torturing, and injuring animals.
You heard it.
Excuse me.
You heard it.
Promoting or possessing an obscene sexual performance by in the fucking wood chipper. In the fucking wood chipper.
Dude, they do it. I mean,
in the fucking wood chipper.
They do it themselves. I mean, you think they just fuck goats?
No. I've heard about the Bachabazi boys.
I like that. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Arson in the 3rd and 4th degree. I didn't mean to set the shit on fire, but by accident, me doing something stupid caught something else on fire. That's fine.
Fighting,
hey, I was just trying to,
in the
the hairspray and the gas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I sprayed that at your house. I didn't mean to.
I didn't know you had that plastic siding that's just gonna melt and cause fires. And your window was open. You had silk sheets. How the fuck was I to know? You had any goddamn drapes over them bastards. That's going up with that shit.
Degree, coercion in the 1st degree, grand larceny in the 1st degree, criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 1st and 2nd degree, criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 1st and 2nd degree on or near school grounds, specified.
You got that? Criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 1st and 2nd degree on or near school grounds. You're selling drugs to kids. So you just get let go that day.
Felony drug offenses involving the use of children, including the use of children to commit controlled substance offenses and the sale of controlled substance to children.
So children can now be your drug runners and you're let go.
But back to the 80s, baby. Back to 80s, 70s, and 80s New York.
Person for prostitution in a school zone, failure.
Criminal solicitation in the 1st degree and criminal felicitation in the 1st degree. Patronizing a person for prostitution in a school zone.
Listen, sometimes daddy needs a top off before he picks you up from school, okay? Mommy's at home. She hasn't shut the fuck up in 3 weeks. She hasn't given you any. So you know what's better? Listen, right before you got to get, you go, I'm going to leave. I'm going to get the kids. And then you go, and then, you're in a school zone, and you see Chuleta over there, and she's going to come, and she's going to top you off, and then you get in the school line, okay?
I honestly have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. No, I mean, that is incredibly disgusting.
It's insane. It's insane behavior.
Failure to register as a sex offender.
Not only are we going to allow guns in school, we're going to allow the kids to sell the drugs in the school. And once they get out of high school, they can start prostituting around the school again. They'll never leave. They'll never leave.
This one's weird too. Listen, hold up.
Register as a sex offender, obstructing governmental administration in the 1st degree by means of self-defense spray, bribery.
So if you spray them with pepper spray as you were trying to obstruct a government official from doing whatever the fuck they're supposed to be doing, If you spray them with pepper spray, you may go to jail, but you're getting out that day. What?
And bribe receiving in the first degree, bribe given to public office,
Bribe given to public office.
Nice, Jonah.
My son has an inferno going on right now. Last time he burnt the table umbrella down on the
promoting prison contraband in the first and second degree, resisting arrest, hindering prosecution, tampering with the juror or physical evidence, aggravated harassment in the first degree, directing a laser at an aircraft in the first degree, criminal possession of a weapon in the fourth degree, enterprise corruption, i.e. money laundering in the first degree. So make no mistake about it, when Mamdani is saying violent crime is just a social construct, and he tries to name not really all that serious in his mind violent crimes, this is what he actually means. This is what his legislative record shows him supporting. This is what he fought against in order to change. And by the way, included in this list in the assaults that were not bail eligible originally were strangulation, domestic violence, violating a restraining order, and all these other clearly and obviously violent crimes that Mamdani would call socially constructed. And this...
You're fucked, New York. Ask me if I give a shit.
Hey, we're on the front page of politics and podcasts.
Nice.
We're 20th in politics.
This right here. This right here, dude. This is fucking disgusting. So when I told you New York can go fuck itself, I meant it.
But is it weird that most of the people that voted for him was Chinese?
I mean, isn't it weird that we heard about that Chinese scandal with the 2020 election where they were taking TikTok information and making fake IDs and shipping it here? Huh. Yeah, now we really understand what happened with 2020. And they've been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they had to do it on a massive scale to win. Fucking disgusting, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to point that out to y'all.
I got this.
Because I'm just going to say at this point in time, we'll follow the story. We'll touch on it from here and there. But New York, go fuck yourself. You are so fucked, and y'all don't know it. All your little bodegas, those small grocery stores, they're going to close the fuck down. He's not going to be able to spring them up in fucking time with these city-run grocery stores that he's talking about. And if you get out of hand, if you get a little bit uppity, all he has to do is take away your food. You fucking dumb, retarded assholes. I don't give a shit. Go fuck yourself.
He'll do exactly what they did with the hotels in New York. He'll tell the bodegas, we're going to pay you a certain... we're going to pay you a governmental salary. And this is what you're going to do. And if you don't want to cooperate, I'm telling you.
Well,
and if you don't want to cooperate,
yeah, you'll be shut down.
You're done. Yeah, you're done. You're shut down. That's how he's going to do it. He's already got the infrastructure for it. And like I said, just like the hotels, the same thing. They bought out the hotels. The government said, we're going to give you this amount of money. That's what they'll do with the bodegas. They'll go, we'll give you $100,000 or whatever they need to operate, plus a little more.
No, you can't do plus a little more. That's that's capitalism.
No, they'll do it with, it's government. The government always gives the people they need more.
No, they're just gonna beg for scraps for a while. Maybe if they do good and they keep pressing, then they'll get a little bit more. These motherfuckers are just going to get enough of just what they're running off of right now.
Right. Here's what I'm saying. Okay, let me rephrase it a little bit. In the beginning, he's going to make it enticing for them to take the government contract.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to give them a little bit more. So they take the contract. And once the contract is signed, in the contract, I guarantee you, there'll be a stipulation that nobody's going to fucking read, that eventually that bonus or whatever will go away, and they will get whatever the government is going to give them
to
run their business. Because like I said, he's already got the infrastructure. There's fucking bodegas in every corner. He's not going to be able to build new places. So he'll go with the infrastructure he already has, and then maybe also shift it a little bit. While he owns the bodegas, he starts to make these stores. He starts to incorporate these stores in places. So then he could just, in the contract, he could say at any time the contract could be terminated. They terminate the contract and bye-bye. Despacito. Are you done with that one?
Yeah, I'm done with that. I just had to type a message real quick.
I got this.
Like I said, I just don't give a fuck about New York anymore. Y'all do what you want to do. Y'all are too fucking stupid to join society. Go ahead.
From Wall Street Apes, New York is finished. Zohan Mandani plans on making new laws saying it doesn't matter where companies are headquartered. If you do business in New York, they must pay his new increased corporate tax rate. Businesses can't relocate to lower tax states to save money. What I propose is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda to start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding to leverage over this city, and we will do so in two key ways. The first, to match the state corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey, where at 7.25%, that'll be 11.5. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And that the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporation headquarters in New York, because when they say this, people will just say, well, they're going to Florida. Wherever you're headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you'll be taxable for the corporate tax. The second taxing is the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who are making millions of dollars a year or more, taxing them just by a flat increase of 2%. He thinks this is going to fucking work.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. Mm-hmm. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
Now, you also want to cut.
I've proposed.
And 50 Cent replied by...
Yeah. That's what he fucking meant by that. But
I'll pay you $250,000 at one-way ticket back to wherever you came from.
Because that's what he pays in taxes.
Yep.
Makes sense now. Makes sense why he would say that number. It's like, oh, goddamn, is that all he's got left? But it makes sense now.
Yeah.
But, dude, still. I mean, you're literally trying to tax them into fucking oblivion just so you can own everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because what falls on a free market, you're going to have to pick up, or the people get uppity. And if you don't pick that up, then they get uppity, and all you have to do is take away their food, and then they revolt. Now, here's the thing. They actually have the power of the police department and the National Guard on their side. They have control on a military and the state-run level. Y'all can go fuck yourself. This is what you want? You about to get a badass fucking rude awakening.
Yep.
And it's going to be funny to sit here and laugh at you for. Because that's what I'm going to do. And I got friends in New York. I've told them all. Only 2 of them understood. And they got the fuck out of New York City. So the rest of y'all sons of bitches up there, eat a dick.
I'm gonna play this one, and then you have the other one from London, right? One where it names all the places.
Oh yeah. I got that.
Okay, yeah. So I'll play this one, and then back,
From a different lens.
and then off the back of
What's
that.
this? What's this for?
This is gonna explain exactly
But
this
you gotta
video
set
that
it
you're
up.
gonna play.
You
Okay.
You got to set
Sorry.
it up.
All right. Warning, this is Islam America. Big changes coming to America. First, we nominate a Muslim mayor. Then we nominate people to school board of education. That's how demographic change begins. We have the most children, soon a Muslim president. So they're talking about we're eating ourselves from the inside by allowing them to come and do this.
Yep.
One day you're going to be the president of the United States of America. No one, Koi Michael Ali, who can stop you from becoming a president. Dream big, have a vision. Because if Barack Hussein Obama can be a president, Sohaib Jawad cannot be a president. Tell me. He's going to be a president. He's talking about that the Muslims will take over Mecca. They used to laugh at him. What happened? What is Mecca now? Where is Mecca? It's coming. Change is coming to America. And what is Allah telling us? Kuntum khayra ummatin. You are the best of nations. You're better than everybody else. That's what Allah is saying. Let's work towards that. Let's work towards a Muslim mayor. Next election that comes in, nominate people for the school board of education. Next election that comes here, nominate people for the local township. Begin the demographics change. People converted. There's a big, huge conversion going on in this country. Where are the converts? They just convert and they're gone in the wilderness. The other thing, children. Muslims have the highest population. Average, they did Pew Foundation did a research study, Pew Foundation, and they said that Muslim household average is 3.4 child per family. The white American has 1 child per family. We're already beating the march because these are voters. These are not just babies being born in hospitals. These are voters. That's the way a politician looks at it. We have to change the framework and start looking at things from a different lens, different angle for future. You're not going to change society today in your lifetime, but you think about your grandchildren.
Oh, fuck,
Eating
dude.
from the inside out. 3.36. They're having almost 4 kids each. While the American government is telling American women that they need to just be boss bitches and not let a man tell them what to do and not let a man make them a mother.
Meanwhile, the patriarchy that they're screaming about, that they were so fucking worried about them being, handmaid's tales, bitches. Well, that's coming. And you're going to welcome it with open arms. Why? Because they're not white. And that's not some bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up.
This is how you take over a nation by soft jihad. The mayor of London is a Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. Mayor of Blackburn, Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is a Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is Muslim. All this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of 66 million people in England. Today there are over 1,800 mosques in England. There are over 80 Sharia courts. There are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work, receive state support and free accommodation. 5. A large percentage of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. 7. State-supported Muslim families with an average of 3 to 8 children receive free accommodation. 8. Now every school in the UK is required to teach lessons about Islam. This is
Jesus Christ, man.
Coming to the USA. Why? White guilt. White liberal guilt.
Right. What up, Sentinel? How you doing? We got Lenny with us too.
Evening. What up, gentlemen? Yeah. White guilt.
This is what you wanted, New York, right?
But it's not going to come to New York, my friend. It's going to be... It's coming all over. It's going to be all over.
Right.
I mean, look at Dearborn.
New York is going to be a new Mecca. Yeah, it probably will. My cousin lives in West Side Manhattan. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just saying. You want to do whatever? Fine. Because when the time comes, I'm going to laugh at you as we raffle stomp the fuck out of this Muslim army that's coming up here.
Well,
like, this is fucking disgusting and scary as hell. We are under attack from the inside out here with everything, and they allowed it to fucking happen and praising it along the fucking way. Like I said, they used treason to cover up sedition. Here we go. Here we fucking go. Dude.
Yeah, and everybody's having a fucking full-blown liberal attack, titty attack that, oh my God, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. He's going to...
The fuck?
That's every liberal out there. Did you ever heard him today? I've heard him all fucking day. He's an authoritarian. I ain't going to do whatever you want.
Yeah, what Davey's talking about is this, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out.
This decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves.
What up, no jabs?
So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies.
Sentinel.
Those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she could talk as long as she wants, because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court today.
Well, they damn sure should be. This comes from Tatum over here. Just in, thanks to the Supreme Court, Trump says the following policies can now proceed. In birthright citizenship, cut off funding to sanctuary cities, suspend refugee resettlement, freeze unnecessary federal spending, stop taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries. America First is back. Now, this one right here comes from Reuters. Hold on. Jihad or Civil War 2.0, which will this summer be? Or which will be this summer? Oh, no. Hold on. We're closer to Civil War than Jihad. You have to have the takeover happen first, and then people realize that's happening. That's still a long time away, Jennifer. Now, on the other hand, I do feel like people want to pop off at the mouth a lot, and they're ready to just go nuts. We've all seen it. But, I mean, I am. But Supreme Court in birthright case limits judges' powers to block presidential policies. The Supreme Court handed President Donald Trump a major victory on Friday in a case involving birthright citizenship by curbing the ability of judges to impede his policies nationwide, changing the balance between the federal judiciary and presidents. Hold up. We'll pause right there. How many times did we sit here and say, how does it make any fucking sense that a lower court federal judge who's literally like janitor on the fucking level can tell the president of the United States what the fuck to do?
some fucking Supreme Court justice in Oklahoma can tell the president, nah, we're not going to do that.
No, it's not a Supreme Court justice. It's a goddamn judge, a federal court judge, trying to say, "Hey, I'm going to overstep my fucking."
No, I mean, like,
don't
they have like
injunction on.
Supreme Courts in like each state? No, they have.
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
each state have their like Supreme Court? So yeah, so like they're the federal judge. You know, that's what I meant to say there. The federal judge is just like, nah, we're not going to do that, and it's for all 50 states. Like, no, fuck off.
but the 6-3 ruling, authorized by conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett, authored by conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Bitch, y'all were licking her asshole when she was actually going against what everybody wanted. Y'all were licking her asshole, and now you're trying to try to flame her again. God damn, this is pathetic.
Well, I mean, I have the whole statement or the part of the statement that's the juicy part. Which one do you want?
Oh, we'll get to the juicy part first.
Okay.
But you know what? Actually, let's hit the whole statement.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is from Amy Coney Barrett's decision. We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent. Not to mention the Constitution itself. We observe only this. Justice Jackson decrees an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary. No one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have unbridled authority to enforce this obligation. In fact,
hold on. You know what she said there, right? This bitch is trying to say the president shouldn't be in control, but she should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes the law prohibits the judiciary from doing so. See Marbury versus Madison, blah, 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 concluding that James Madison had violated the law, but holding that the court lacked jurisdiction to issue a writ of mandamus order, mandamus ordering him to follow it. But see post Jackson J. dissenting. If courts do not have the authority to require the executive to adhere to law universally, compliance with the law sometimes becomes a matter of executive privilege. Observing the limits of judiciary authority, including a relevant here, the Boundaries of Judiciary Act of 1879 is required by the judge's oath to follow the law. Justice Jackson skips over that part because analyzing the government statute involving boring legalese post at 3, she seeks to answer a far more basic question of erroneous practical significance. May a federal court in the United States of America order the executive to follow the law? I bid. In other words, it is unnecessary to consider whether Congress has constrained the judiciary. What matters is how the judiciary may constrain the executive. Justice Jackson would do well to heed her own admonition. Everyone from the president on down is bound by the law. I bid. That goes for judges too.
Yeah, she called this tedious and mind-numbing task or something like that to just even go through this shit, because this is what I think. Not the law. This is what I think. Yeah, that was her reading of that. And I will admit this, though. I didn't really like Amy Coney Barrett, and I knew some shit was going on. This bitch got scared because they were rioting outside these motherfuckers' houses. Not rioting, but they were protesting outside these motherfuckers' houses.
They were violently protesting. There was Antifa outside their house.
Yeah, to a point to where there was somebody who actually turned themselves in because they were going to kill Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett that night. I mean, it is a little frightening, but
that's another thing that's it's one of those things. It's fucking intimidation.
Not to mention, the fucking federal government let it happen, even though there is a federal statute against it, because you cannot protest outside a Supreme Court justice's house because they must remain neutral. But let's not forget about that actually happening and all that shit. And yeah, let's forget that they actually tried to influence our fucking court system by threatening to kill these motherfuckers. And let's also not forget, if the auto pen shit goes, that means Ketanji Brown Jackson's gone?
It depends. They're going to have to look at that.
It doesn't.
It does. Well, so supposedly there were more in 2024, I believe, than any. I think there was like 16 in 2020.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think there was any in 2020. I think there was like 16 in 2020. 18 in 2020. The numbers kept going up, and by his last,
it doesn't matter. By the end of his first year, this motherfucker's mind was gone. We all fucking saw it. So any auto pen shit, maybe even 3-4 months beforehand, any auto pen shit can be called into question. And Ketanji Brown Jackson was put on the Supreme Court using an auto pen.
No, if that's
will
true,
they go that route? Probably fucking not, because that would destroy this country. But by all rights, she doesn't need to be on the fucking bench now, does she? I mean, she doesn't even know what a woman is, and I guarantee you that bitch had something to do with the Roe versus Wade or the Dobbs decision being leaked. I guarantee it. She's the only person that's perfect enough to do that. She was not on the fucking seat at that point in time, but she had inside knowledge because she was coming in at that point. I guarantee you, she got a hold of that and leaked that to somebody, or somebody she knew, somebody she directed along the way did that shit to start that shit up. I guarantee it. And that's just fucking Supreme Court justice. But, yeah. Let's see. Did not let Trump's directive restricting birthright citizenship go into effect immediately, directing lower courts that blocked it to reconsider the scope of their orders. Okay. This is a kick the can down the road situation. Just like they did with Trump and going to the Supreme Court and everything, and they said, hey, Jack Smith, you need to separate these charges. That was a kick the can down the road kind of situation. Because they knew once they did that, they wouldn't have time to bring it back up into the Supreme Court before the election had already happened. Whatever happened at that point happened. This is a kick the can down the road because they're done for a summer break. They don't come back till October.
Who, the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The ruling also did not address the legality of the policy, part of Trump's hardline approach toward immigration. The Republican president lauded the ruling, saying his administration can now try to move forward with numerous policies such as birthright citizenship executive order that he said had been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. We have so many of them. We have a whole list, Trump told reporters at the White House. The court granted the administration's request. Yeah, we heard that. The ruling specified that Trump's executive order cannot take effect until 30 days after Friday's ruling. The ruling thus raises the prospect of Trump's order eventually applying in some parts of the country. Okay, so 30 days after what? Today?
Today? Yeah. So July 27th? Bye.
August, September, when they come back in October.
He's got 3 months. 3 months to get these motherfuckers out of here. Afuera.
Maybe 4. Let's just say maybe to make it back to the Supreme Court. The end of
this
the
is
year.
why this is why they're putting fucking alligator Alcatraz up so fucking quickly. He's like, arriba, let's go. Let's get this shit done. I got 3 months.
To make it back to the Supreme Court and then to actually really consider the impact of all this shit for what they're actually supposed to do, I'd give it to the end of the fucking year. At most, the end of the year. because that's going to set some shit the fuck off. You know that. That's why they kicked the can down the road right before they went on break, so people weren't rioting and picketing and trying to kill them again. They kick the can down the road so that when they come back, they have no reason not to be protected. By the way, like I said, it was the fucking federal government that said, we're not even going to fund you guys being protected from this shit because you made a horrible decision that we don't like.
They tried to take fucking Trump's Secret Service away right before he got fucking shot.
Yeah.
And then they didn't say a fucking word after that, eh?
Nope.
Not a fucking word was uttered after that. Everybody was like, shut the fuck up.
That was
shut
fucking
up.
Benny Thompson, the same motherfucker that said that chaired the January 6th committee that fucking deleted information, encrypted and deleted information, evidence that they fabricated and altered during that hearing, which it has been proven several fucking times. Using treason to cover up sedition, brother. Federal judge.
I don't know where the fuck it is, but somebody called for treason, and I was like, I had to save it for Richard. And I can't
never
find
did.
it now.
Look at that. Federal judges have taken steps, including numerous nationwide orders impeding Trump's aggressive use of the executive action to advance his agenda. These three judges in birthright citizenship litigation found that Trump's order likely violates citizenship language in the Constitution's Fourth Amendment. On his first day back in office, Trump signed an executive order directing federal agencies to refuse to recognize the citizenship of children born in the United States who do not have at least one parent who is an American citizen or lawful permanent resident. Dude, Padilla is gone. Not really. I mean, they are now, but
he's got a get out of jail free card. He's a senator. They're not gonna fucking
touch that.
No,
fucking slimy little worthless cocksucking coward of a prick.
No, they're not gonna bother with him. They're not gonna bother with anybody in politics. They're just
Fucking
gonna
disgusting. Those motherfuckers need to be held to a higher account. If you do that shit, you need twice the penalty of an American citizen. Warning against an imperial judiciary, Barrett wrote, no one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have the unbridled enforce to... Yeah, we already heard that one. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor called the ruling a travesty for the rule of law, as she read a summary from her dissent in the bench. In her written dissent, joined by two other court judges, Sotomayor criticized the court's majority for ignoring whether Trump's executive order is constitutional. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But again, like I said, this is kicking the can down the road so people don't wind up trying to kill him again. Yet the order's patently unlawfulness reveals the gravity of the majority's error and underscores why equity supports universal injunctions and appropriate remedies in this kind. Equity? Everybody must wind up in the same place. It doesn't matter if I killed 17 people and raped 8 children, Davey. You did nothing wrong. You did it correctly. I should be where you are. Bitch, if equity were a thing, we'd all be Supreme Court justices, you retarded sack of shit. More than 150,000 newborns would be denied citizenship annually under Trump's directive, according to the plaintiffs who challenged it, including the Democratic attorneys general of 22 states, as well as immigrant rights advocates and pregnant immigrants. Okay. If they're slated for deportation and pregnant, I don't give a shit. Unless they're just about to give birth and they can't travel. Other than that, get the fuck out. And after you give birth, you recover off our taxpayer dime. I'll go ahead and pay for that. Y'all, both of you, get the fuck out.
Afuera.
The ruling was issued on the final day of decisions on cases argued before the Supreme Court during its 9-month term that began in October. The court also issued rulings on Friday backing a Texas law regarding online pornography, letting parents opt children out of classes when storybooks with LGBTQ characters are read, endorsing the Federal Communications Commission's funding, expanding of phone broadband internet access, and preserving Obama's provision of health care insurances. I just saw out of the corner of my eye that you just put your hand to your camera.
It seems a little off. That's why. So
I want to say this. The court also issued rulings on Friday backing a Texas law regarding online pornography. I get it. I understand the point, but I do say that's a little heavy-handed. Letting parents opt out of children's classes when storybooks with LGBTQ characters are read. I agree with that one 100%. Endorsing the Federal Communication Commission's funding mechanism for expanding phone and broadband internet access. I don't like that one.
no.
Because that is literally when the government controls, just like the government controls your TV, the government will control your internet. Once they control your internet, they control what you see again. So that way you wouldn't see us. You'd be seeing David Fudge Packman and the Young Turks and all that other dumb shit all fucking day. Yet again, it'd be programmed back into you.
Where is it?
And preserving Obamacare's provisions on health insurers covering preventive care. I will say I agree with that one. I agree with that one. You need to come up with something else to replace it before you just take that shit away.
Speaking of the only people you'll be able to see, you know that kid Dean? He's with those fucking TikTokers with Harry and Parker and all of them. What? Here, go to my screen real quick.
I got you. Let me unmute. Oh, you're good.
Kid crashes out so hard over his anxiety pen that his toddler lisp came out. He may need to put the mic away for a while. This is Dean Withers. He was on that Jubilee thing where he took on 25 Republicans, right? Here's him on a TikTok live.
Pen. I'm sorry that I have anxiety. Okay, and honestly, yeah, it is kind of the fault of people like you that want to come up here and bully and berate me over something that I don't do. Okay, so cut the shit. It's not a vape. All right, it's an anxiety pin, and God, the amount of times that I've asked you to respect me and respect my anxiety pin is, at this point, getting ridiculous, Cody. So please,
justified crash out
for the final and for the billionth time, will you?
When these kids don't get the answers or get pushback, this is the fucking tantrum they throw. This is the tantrum
it's a fucking vape, not an anxiety.
Yeah,
shit.
Exactly. He has a vape.
He's just a pussy bitch that's paid to say these things and try. Now, if you give him a little pushback and actually start cracking this motherfucker, it'd be fun for us to sit down and have a conversation. You know how much this bitch would just literally cry if he would even stay longer than 10 minutes?
He changes the subject every single fucking time. And then when somebody who's on the other side has a point about kind of the something, but it changes it a little bit, he's like, why are you changing the goalpost? And then he has a fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
Really.
Please just respect the fact that it's not a vape and that it's an anxiety pin.
And that it's an anxiety pin.
No.
What the fuck was that gay shit? No, rewind.
It's about time. For the billionth time, will you please just respect the fact that it's not a vape and that it's an anxiety pin?
It's a goddamn anxiety pen. Get it right.
What flavor is your vape?
Yo, you really got me.
Get the fuck. Just
for this.
Get the fuck out.
Get him out.
I hate women.
Okay, get out. You get out too. You fucking weirdo. What, dude? What?
Do you vape? Parker, do you vape?
No, it's a damn fucking anxiety pen. Okay.
What the dude? What? Okay, Joe, you suck. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next guest.
It's an anxiety pen. Yeah.
I've never heard of an anxiety pen.
I've never heard one either.
Unless this right here is an anxiety pen, but I don't have anxiety, so I guess it's a vape, right?
Or maybe it's
this is so fucking retarded.
Maybe it's whatchamacallit? THC fucking. We didn't see it, so they didn't show it. But maybe it was one of those THC pens.
No, there ain't no fucking way because that dude been stoned off his ass. There ain't no way he would have raged out like that. Ain't no fucking way. Have you ever seen a mad pothead?
You ever been to New York City?
Have you ever seen them high?
Yes.
Well,
yes, they're always high. Tell you, dude. Jamaica, Queens,
that's true.
They're
That's
always
true.
high.
That's
the
true.
Bronx, they're always high. Fucking Queens, they're always high. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I mean, their normal state is anger in the first damn place, so getting high and being normal is just
and then high and fucking. You never watched the fucking Wire?
I don't even know where the kid lives. But
He lives in fucking uppity Connecticut. That's where most of these fucking kids live. These kids live in Jersey or Connecticut or the Upper West Side.
No, Sisson lives in New York City.
Yeah, but his parents also have a house in Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that's probably where he stays all the fucking time, but yeah.
Yeah, these little fucking dorks just sit there and they'll go on their lives, and as soon as you try these treat people, that's why I stopped doing all that shit. These people just you try to make a point, they jump on you and they go to other things, and he's a felon, he's a this, he's a that, he's a this, he's a that. Well, what was the felonies for?
Yeah,
what were the felonies for?
I'd just been like, no, we ain't coming back. Well, we can touch on that here in a second, but finish the point. Finish what we were talking about. Let's not move off onto that. Finish what we were talking about. Put a pin on that. We'll come back to the felony shit. You ain't gonna do that? Well, then what the fuck's the point? You're gonna sit here and not talk about this because you know you're either gonna get A, owned, or B, show the fucking world you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you just want to deflect and push off on another thing? We'll come back to that. I've got no problem coming back to that felony shit. But let's finish this point. Every fucking time. And then they rage the fuck out. And then when you push back and show them, oh, so this is this, you're deflecting now. Hey, look, here's the save face part of it where you just try to start insulting me. And that's where it gets fun for me because then you put me in my fucking element to come back at you. Then you play victim every time because you insulted me 3 times before I came overhanded and just pelted you with a goddamn Superman haymaker.
Yeah. But before you had the first before right after the first sentence you had out, he would have dropped you.
Yep.
He would have dropped you.
Yep.
He would have dropped you.
Every fucking time because he's got nothing and he won't go out on anybody else's unless it's a bigger platform than his. Because he can't control shit. Just like Luke Beasley. Now, the only thing I will say, when he went on that Tim, what was it, the Culture War show or whatever like that, the only thing Tim faltered on was not being able to bring up those court fucking documents that actually proved that there was a lot of fuckery going on with the Proud Boys. That was the only thing Tim failed on doing in that. And that would have shut Luke Beasley the fuck up about January 6th, and that bitch would have had to have eaten a dick. I would have done a better job because I have access to those documents where it's not just kind of ready for him. But yeah, I'm going to bring it to this. MSDNC is melting down over the SCOTUS ruling. I fucking love this. This comes from Gunther Eagleman here. Listen to this shit. Oh, wait. You know what? We are past time.
Oh, shit.
We are 3 minutes over. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to fucking run. Let's hit the other side. What up, homie Tighter? I'm sorry you're coming at the wrong time here. Follow us over here to the Rumble side, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in 3 minutes.
Yeah. you're never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different, man? You must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon, and I'll do it 'cause it's what I wanna fucking do. 'Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision, but no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. 'Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you could fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back. Yeah. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn. You got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing. I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying. Stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah.